Hi there, I'm Melissa Nielsen. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell notification so that you can get notified of our other videos. And if you like our video, please go ahead and like it. So today we're going to talk about handling deficiencies and being behind in homeschooling. So we're not really talking about this for kids that go to a school, a brick and mortar school. This is really geared toward homeschooling families and sort of how do you deal with those deficiencies or this idea that kids are behind or that you're behind, and how do you sort of have the confidence to move forward and be able to, sort of tackle these things in a productive way. So first, when it comes to deficiencies, I think it's really important for us to be responsible and take responsibility, but not take on everything. So, you can be responsible if your child is, say, behind a little bit in math or where they should be, but you can't take responsibility if they have a learning disability. So that part you can't take responsibility for. You can have empathy for it for sure, but you did not create that learning disability. So I want to sort of give you a free pass when it comes to some of that. I know as moms, often we sort of get so wrapped up in everything being our fault and, oh, could I have done it differently? And, oh, maybe they wouldn't have dyslexia if I had done this. I think you really need to stop there, because if there's a true deficiency, then that happens independent of you. Are there things that you can do to help that along and to help make that not such a big struggle? Absolutely. So focus on that piece, focus on where your responsibility could be that it is more helpful, because sort of beating yourself up over things that you really did not have anything to do with is really not productive. And it hurts your confidence, and it really also hurts their confidence. So I want you to sort of take a deep breath. And if you've got something like that going on, yes, those are things that need to be dealt with, and sometimes have, different training and different things that need to happen to sort of either correct or help those deficiencies. But I'm not really talking about those today. I'm really talking more about, like, oh no, I feel like my 13-year-old is a little bit behind. And, I have to tell you, we have totally been there. And one thing that is super interesting to me as I look at my children, my oldest is 23. The older three have all graduated out of homeschooling. My middle one actually went to public school, but he was in homeschooled until he was 14. So when he went to public school, he didn't have really any deficiencies. And so, he was able to step right in. But the others, there have definitely been times where I thought, oh man, somehow we got a little bit behind. Like, for instance, we had a pretty traumatic year a couple years ago, year before last. And I noticed that was a period of time when Sam, who's now almost 14, I kind of allowed more sloppy work than I normally would have, because I just was trying to get through the work. And so we spent a lot of time last year sort of correcting that and going back and fixing some of those, so those neatness deficiencies. And then, as well, like looking at, okay, well, maybe we should be a little bit farther ahead in math than we are. But I want to sort of help you not be beating yourself up about that. So what do? You sort of evaluate your child. And if you're thinking Feeling Willing member or Planning for Peace member, there's an evaluation form in that Planning for Peace journal. So evaluate where your child is. Be very honest, but take the emotion out of it. So take the emotion out of it. Write down, where do you think they are? And also, if you don't really know where they are, find out where they are. So, with regards to mathematics, you could look at where, where they should be, and look at, then go, okay, so I can go through the math curriculum and I can get through grade 4 with no trouble. But they really have trouble when it comes to long division or fractions or decimals in grade 5. So then you have that's an evaluation. Then where they are, how well they're doing on certain things. And it's possible that you get to this place and you're like, okay, well, they're doing really well. They can do the processes, but times tables and having their times tables memorized is still a problem. So that's not a giant deficiency. That's just, something that's smaller that you've got to continue to work on. So do that evaluation. Be completely honest. also do, if you're worried about being behind in, say, writing and, in language arts, have them do a summary for you, and then look at that summary and ask yourself, okay, is this work that's proper for a child of this age? And if you have questions about that, truly, you can hop onto the Ask Melissa and Eric Facebook group, ask us questions there. You can also, if you're a Thinking Feeling Willing member, you can come to office hours and ask questions. You can ask in the Thinking Feeling Willing support group there. That's a great place to get help. If you are a Thinking Feeling Willing member, bring those to office hours, bring those questions to office hours, get some face-to-face help, because I'm totally happy to help you with regards to that. If you don't know what our Thinking Feeling Willing program is, feel free to drop me a message. I'm happy to help you there, or you can find it on our site at waldorfessentials.com. So, but with regards to sort of this deficiency, you have to ask yourself, okay, this deficiency, it might be a reflection on me. Maybe I didn't do enough school last year, or maybe we didn't cover enough things. Stop beating yourself up and just decide where you're going to go from here. So you're looking at your evaluation, you're looking at where they actually are, and then you make a goal, because that's what fixes the deficiency and being behind. You make a goal for where you want to be. And it's not some huge lofty goal. Usually I say start small. So say you have a 4th or a 5th grader and they're not writing their own summaries yet, and you really want to get them writing their own summaries. Well, that's really a very easy thing that you can fix within a month. And so make yourself a checkpoint, write yourself a note, set an appointment on your calendar, that in 1 month, you're going to see how far you've come. So then that means you make a plan to get to that space. So what's your plan look like? So if you've got a child that, say, has this writing deficiency, or maybe they're not writing their own summaries, go back to the early work. Go back to 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade and go back to those summaries. If you have a child that you pulled out of public school and you're like, I don't even know what the heck a summary is, and they don't know what a summary is either. So a summary, when we start in 1st grade, those 1st graders, it's just one sentence, most important thing that you thought about this story. And it's really funny to listen to their most important things. I always have sort of a summary in my back pocket if I need to coach them along a little bit. So 1st grade would be 1 sentence. 2nd grade would be 2 sentences. Although I know there are some overachieving 2nd graders. I have one of them, and she's like, I want to write a whole paragraph. So I always remind her, okay, but you're the one writing it. I'll write it out, and then she'll copy it. So that's usually how that works. 1st and 2nd grade, you write it out either on the chalkboard or on, I keep my own main lesson book. I put it in my own main lesson book, and then she copies it from there. And then 3rd grade, if they are writing on their own, some 3rd graders are, most are not until about the end of 3rd grade. So that last lesson block of 3rd grade, I usually say, we've been doing these summaries together all this time. Now I'm going to step back and let you do them. And let's see how you do. Now, some kids are going to just zoom forward. In fact, most will if you've been writing together consistently since 1st grade. But if not, then you might have to coach them a little bit. You might have to say, okay, what if I start writing the first sentence and then you come and follow up? So keep it playful. And if you are in this spot and you're thinking, I've not been there at all, that's where you start. 1 sentence, 2 sentences, and build. So if you're going to make your goal a month out, then set your goal so that okay, we're going to stretch over the next month. We might start with 2 sentences, and by the end of the month, we want to be at 4. So you really want to think about those things. And when you're working through those deficiencies, stop stressing. Because what happens if you're stressing, they're going to stress. So stop it. You're going to pass that on to them, and then they're going to be frustrated and upset, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to bring that to them. So I'm just saying, don't do it. Don't have them stressing. Yourself, if you're stressing about your own deficiencies as a teacher, the best thing I can tell you to do is plan and ask for help. If you're way behind in your planning and it's well into the school year and you're thinking, I don't even know what I'm doing, take a day and just plan. It can be very overwhelming, but it's more overwhelming if you don't have a daily plan. You decided to be a homeschool teacher, so guess what? Teachers plan. So you want to take on that mantle, that full mantle of being a teacher, right? That fullness, and decide to make a plan. Your children will thank you for it. You will thank your future you thanks you for it, because then you're not like feeling all discombobulated every day. So sitting down and going through making a plan. I cannot highly recommend enough our Planning for Peace program. So if you're a Thinking Feeling Willing member, Planning for Peace is a Mom Lesson 6, and it's included in the program. If you have bought curriculum from us over the last year, it is also included as that. You can access that when you log in to the site, or you can buy Planning for Peace on its own. Planning for Peace is a program that starts in April for the Northern Hemisphere, and we plan all the way through to September. So we have 2 planning calls a month so we can get you going and get you planning. And that really helps you, because even if you fall off on a couple of the months, you've got plenty of time then and plenty of feedback and plenty of help to get to the end. So you actually have the year planned. So many moms come to me and go, I don't know why I didn't do this before. This is so much easier than what I was doing before, because I teach you exactly the way I plan, and the way I have planned for years and years, the way I make my homeschool very successful, the way I planned when I had 4 kids in the grades and an infant. So, you want to really take the time to plan. Your kids deserve it. You deserve it. And it's really the best way to have an amazing school year. So if you're feeling behind in your planning right now and you're like, Melissa, I'm so far behind, I'm telling you, make the plan to take the day. I highly recommend doing a couple of days over the weekend, and you can just say, hey, Dad, you're in charge. Please take kids to the park. I'm going to stay here and plan today. And that's, really the best way that you can get going with better lessons, is to take the time to plan. And, again, if you're a Thinking Feeling Willing member and you've gotten behind and you need some face-to-face, come to office hours. I'm happy to help you in office hours. So that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, handling deficiencies does not have to make you feel deficient. Just take a deep breath and evaluate and move forward. Making a plan is so, so important. So evaluate, set a goal, and make a plan to get to the goal, and you will get there, and it will be just fine. Don't stress. Okay, so hopefully you like this video. So please hit the like button. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, please like our podcast and please leave us a comment. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you later. Bye.